10 couples dancing at once, but while the orchestra was playing, there were 30, 40, maybe even more couples all dancing at once. And so it was very interesting to see the crowd dynamic differences. The Tango Queer was at the same place, the orange dot. The ambience, very similar to the Maldita Malonga, just different, I guess. It was very, it was very casual and relaxed, very touristy. Again, that's how it was similar. It was different because it was Tango Queer, so obvious inherent difference. The main quote for that we heard about the Tango Queer was that you can dance the role you want with whoever you want, which made it a very open environment. People were very open to you, and they weren't very judgmental. They're very young and very many tourists. So remember that was the furthest south, and that was the Buenos Aires Club. The next one is La Confiteria Idea, and that's the one that we all went to. It's the red dot by the obelisk. This very traditional ambience. The age group was older, but you could tell that they were used to having many tourists there, especially because of the eye contact. While the eye contact was necessary and important, if you didn't make eye contact with people, people would still come up to you and ask you to dance, because I'm guessing it's because they dealt with tourists a lot, and so they realized, oh, not everybody knows this eye rule thing. Okay, go ahead and go to the next one. We went back to this one a different night because they were playing live music, and so we were curious what the differences would be. And like the Buenos Aires Club, when the orchestra was playing, there were more dancers dancing. That's the important part of this one. Okay, go ahead. La Marshall is the yellow dot. Still in San Martin Square, but towards a little bit further north. The ambience, very much still catered towards the tourists, but less so than the other two. Of course, diverse language speaking, casual attire, all age groups. Less casual than Tango Queer, but still pretty casual. Go ahead. And then Club Grisel was the blue dot. Our first one, that's the lowest down in Palermo. The Palermo ones were interesting to look at. But, so Club Grisel, very traditional, older crowd. And this one was probably the strictest with the eye contact thing, which makes me believe that less tourists go to this place. But we did a little experiment. We sat down at our tables and we decided, oh, we're not going to look at anybody and see if people are still going to ask us to dance or not. And one person eventually went up to Sarah and called us out on it. They were all like, you know, you have to make eye contact to dance, and so that's what we got from there. Very much less catered towards the tourists, but there were still tourists there, but they were the better tourists who could dance. Okay, so Lund Canning is the green dot, still in Palermo, and notice that it's further north. The ambience, very old Phil, but there were still some modern aspects, like you can see the disco ball hanging up at the top. The crowd was a lot older and dressed up until 2 o'clock in the morning when the younger people started coming out to dance. Eye contact, very much important at this one as well. They didn't ask you to dance very much if you didn't make the eye contact with people. Again, not very many tourists at all, and this one was very interesting because I think that at this one, like what Sarah was mentioning earlier, how they were, their reputation was based on how they danced. At this place, if you weren't very good, they would stop dancing with you in the middle of a tanda. Which is kind of rude, but that's what we noticed. Go ahead. Okay, and then the last one is La Veruta, the purple dot at the top. The furthest north. The ambience, extremely modern still, very young crowd, which was different than a lot of the other ones that we had been to. But it made it feel more homely, like this was like the place where people, Argentines actually went. There was a live orchestra. We went there twice. The first night there was a live orchestra. Crowd dynamics weren't that much different when the orchestra was playing or not. There were a lot of people dancing either way. And the most interesting thing about the first evening was that there were no tandas playing that evening. So those 3 or 4 songs and then a break. They just kept on playing songs, and that was interesting to see because you didn't know exactly when you should stop dancing with them. So some people you dance with for 6 songs and it felt weird, but you didn't want to tell them, okay, I'm ready to stop. Go ahead.
Just start dancing badly.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, and then the last one is La Veruta, which we went to again on Friday night. Very much similar, a lot more crowded on Friday night, but still the same type of crowd, same type of dressing up, and they did have tandas that evening. Okay, so there's the map again, the overview of putting what I said into a physical location. The further south you went, like San Telmo especially, the more touristic the places were. The further up you went, the more genuine the places felt, the more Argentine people that were like normal Argentines would go to. And our sample size obviously isn't the greatest. We just spent 1 week there, but I'm going to go through a couple of reasons why I think that this, even though our sample size isn't the greatest, I still think this trend continues. Go ahead. I'm going to do that by talking about the neighborhoods themselves. San Telmo, which was the furthest south, is very, very historic. That's the place with all the cobblestone roads, just very historic. And so this is a place where tourists like to go. That's the main part about that. Palermo, extreme opposite. Palermo is like a normal city, like the green grass fields that you go play in, and just it wasn't centered towards the tourists. This is like the actual city where people live more. Go ahead. And then San Martin Square was the last main neighborhood that we danced at, and that was close to where our hotel, like pretty much where our hotel was. So we kind of saw how it is, how a lot of tourists go there. It's also historic, the architecture, everything like that. Go ahead. And then the last 2 maps I have are showing physically where the different milongas are in the north and versus the south. The red dots,
Here, I got it.
like
You
this
can-
one. Okay.
you can-
Just the main point I want to show is the density. Look at how many there are, and yeah, there you go. Versus the north, where if you're looking at it, they're a lot more spread out. Of course, we've heard several different numbers there. We've heard between 150 and 200 or more milongas every single week. And so you can kind of show how they're distributed. That again shows how the south is more centered around the tourists because people are going there from different places to dance the tango or to even just see what the tango's like. Whereas in the north, it's more of a normal thing, like this is more the distribution of normal clubs that people go to.
So, as Whitney mentioned, there was a lot of tourism that we met with. And Sarah mentioned all of the tourists that she danced with, people from Germany, Italy, South Africa, the Netherlands, on and on and on, which was convenient because we didn't speak a lot of English, but we were interested in this trend. And so we looked at the economy in general and seeing if there was going to be a touristic trend. And so we found that in 2010, so this map right here is international tourism receipts, and you'll see in 2003 there was a severe downturn, and then it started to come back up, and when it started to rise again was when the Argentine currency was very, very, very weak, and so it was very easy to go to Argentina to dance. And so we were looking at that, but then we realized what we were really interested in was not the people who went to Argentina to see tango as a touristic affair, but to dance the tango. And so what we did is we kind of looked at porteños and their opinions on what tourists, how they interacted in Buenos Aires. And so one of the opinions that we got from a salesman was that the tango is a myth and that